Okay, welcome to the Lobo Den Podcast. Today we have Garr is back on the podcast. So we talk. What did we talk about? Do you remember?
You said you weren't going to cut to me. We talked about culturally Catholic.
Oh, culturally Catholic.
Yep.
Comedy, spite. We talked spite. Impotence. Erections.
Giovanni talked about impotence. I did not talk about impotence.
Okay, Lobo Den. Okay, welcome to the Lobo Den Podcast. I'm your host, Giovanni Diaz. We're at the Lincoln Lodge. To the left of me is Chrissy Ferreira. And I've been calling you Christine because it's your name on Facebook. And across from me, he's making his comeback to the Lobo Den is Garr, everybody.
I'm back, baby.
What's up, Ken? How you doing?
I'm doing great, man.
You just came from the Laugh Factory.
Yeah.
When is the last time you had sex? Because I was just talking about...
Yeah, we were talking about that before we fired up the microphones.
Because I just had some caffeine right now.
Right.
And if I have too much caffeine, it affects my erections. And
How does it, like, you just can't get it up?
I get paranoid. I get scared, and I'm just very... you've never done cocaine, right?
No.
Okay, so have you done, like, any... Is it uppers or things that get you really hyped up, or...
Maybe an Adderall or two.
Okay, like that. Yeah, I can't. I get really scared and paranoid, and then I remember one time I went to the house or wherever we were living, and I had way too much coffee. I was just scared. I go into the show and I'm nervous and I'm scared, and then no, I can't perform under those conditions.
So why do you drink coffee?
Because I need to wake up so we can record the podcast and entertain the people. So I'm sacrificing my relationship and sex life for you and the podcast.
But you're also altering your personality, and now you might be a little bit more paranoid and not comfortable.
That could happen.
Yeah.
It's a risk. And I just took the Zyn, 3 milligrams. So
Is that nicotine gum?
No, it's a nicotine pouch, and I just put it underneath. Like I used to do. Did you ever do a? Garr is a comedian from Chicago. He's been out to L.A. He's one of the best comics in the country. He just has a special.
Yeah, I got a special on.
I just watched it.
Yeah, it's on on Prime, Amazon Prime. It's called American Hero.
American Hero, yeah. And then, but anyway, I was asking you sex, right? When's the last time you had sex?
I think before. So I got here on the 30th, and I think we had sex the night before. So this has been since the 29th.
Okay. Is your wife with you, or is she back in L.A.?
No, she's back in L.A., but she'll be here. I think she's coming here on Friday.
And then you will have sex?
No, I won't be here. It's weird. So she's coming. She's from here, and so she's coming back. And then I'm going to Wisconsin to go fishing with my buddies. And I'm not even a fisherman, but it was a chance to hang out with my buddies. And so I won't get back until Monday the 12th. So Monday, September 12th, I will be having sex in my parents' basement, which is where we're staying.
And then your parents are going to be there.
They won't be in the room, no.
Oh, no.
But they'll be there upstairs.
So it'll be quiet sex.
Yeah.
Quiet sex. I have to have quiet sex now because I live with children.
Okay.
I have a child who's 6 months old.
Well, congrats.
And thank you. I have a baby. Oh, I don't know. I didn't show you. But I have a 6-month-old child, and my stepson lives with us half the week.
Okay.
So then it's like it's stealthy and you have to be quiet. And then like the other day, the baby, he was in his little walker thing.
Yeah.
And he wasn't looking the other way. But then I think as soon as maybe I climaxed and I looked and he was looking at us.
Oh.
And then I just freaked out because I tried to throw a blanket up.
Name that baby caffeine, man.
Yeah, named that. Did I bring up the erection on the podcast?
Yeah.
Before? Oh, yeah.
No, before the podcast, you said, you're like, oh, I shouldn't have caffeine. I need to get it might affect my erection later. And then I was like, so you're for sure having sex later, or you're not? You're
potentially.
Like, I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I could be tired. She could be tired.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, it's like, oh, yeah, we're going to fuck.
My brother's got a stepkid, and he's like 24 and won't move out. He owns a Tesla and like makes all this money as a truck driver, but won't get his own place.
So he lives with your brother?
He lives with my brother and his wife. And
how did that happen?
Well, like when they got married, he was like 18. And so, or 17 or something like that. So they've been together for a long time. But I told my brother, I go, have sex with the door open and be super loud because like that'll make him want to go.
Have you ever walked in on or been walked in on?
My mom walked in on me and a girl, but we had we stopped. Like we heard her. We were in the basement. We heard my mom come into the door. And then she she must have known we were having sex because she took a beeline for the basement and like kicked the door open. She's like, "What are you guys up to?" And this is when I was in college. And I had a blanket over me, and or blanket over us. I'm like, we're just chilling, we're just watching a movie, but like we were both naked under the blanket. And she's like, and then my mom's like, I want to go to Walgreens. You guys want to go to Walgreens? And we're like, no, we're good. She's like, I want you to come to Walgreens with me. I'm like, this is so weird. It was so weird.
But you were Catholic, right? You grew up Catholic?
No, I'm Lutheran.
Oh,
yeah.
From the Southside, I thought.
Yeah, dude,
Catholic.
it's so funny because I'm English Protestant and I grew up in an Irish Catholic neighborhood.
Yeah,
which
Southside.
became eventually a black neighborhood. And we didn't.
Bridgeport? Bridgeport's still white.
We were the last white family to move.
What neighborhood was it?
It was Wrightwood.
Okay.
So it's like sometimes they call it Ashburn, but it's like 87th to California. And so I was Irish Catholic. I was English Protestant. I went to public school. Everybody else went to Catholic school. And then one black family moved in, and then everyone left.
Everybody left.
That was it.
White flight, right?
White flight, yeah. And we stayed. My dad was a firefighter. We're not racist. We're like, well, this is our neighborhood. This is our home. I ain't going
nowhere.
You know.
So I grew up Catholic, right? I'm Catholic. I'm Catholic again, by the way, and I declared that I will die Catholic. Like I'm now in culture,
practicing Catholic.
No, I'm not.
I'm
really agnostic, but I am Catholic. I want to do the confirmation. I don't know. I really got into Catholicism in the last 2 weeks.
You make it sound like a new line of purses. Like, you really into Catholicism lately?
Really
their new fall line is like,
dude. Okay, so
fire.
There's things I don't like about the Catholic Church. You know, like all the killing and the molestation.
But I get that. Yeah,
it's so cool, right? Like, no,
is it?
Okay. Did you? Okay. Flanagan's Catholic, right?
Yeah,
because he has a trespasses joke. It's a trespasses joke.
Yeah.
He's like, when they go to the church, the mass, people can't say trespasses. What's the actual word? Now I'm just
trespasses.
Yeah, so he's like,
as they trespass against us.
And I heard it for the first time because I grew up Mexican Catholic.
Okay.
So I saw white Catholics on Friday because I went to my girlfriend's half white, so her white aunt died. Rest in peace. And God damn it, I was just.
What is it? What's her name?
What's her name?
Aunt Trespasses.
Oh fuck, I forgot. But she seemed like a cool aunt, man. And I never got to meet her. You know what I mean? Like, because they're white, and she didn't talk to half her family for 5 years. Like, is this a white thing? They just don't talk to each other?
Oh yeah, very much so.
Like, what is that?
Very much, yeah.
I don't know. They just didn't talk. It's like I didn't talk to that family. I didn't talk to Aunt Kathy because of this and that. And I was
my aunt and cousin came over today, and I was like, this is the weirdest 12 minutes I've ever had in a long time. Like, family's just all weird.
It's so white families.
White families are weird.
Hispanic families, like the dude will literally be a pedophile, but he's invited to the house. You know? Like literally, like this is wink, wink. Like maybe this happened recently.
That's just Paco. He just likes the kids.
like
what?
Yeah, but the white families, it's like no, Patrice had
grudges, a lot of resentments, grudges, especially Catholic. Like my wife's Irish Catholic. Oh, and her dad's first generation from Ireland.
They're Irish Catholic.
Yeah, and it's like, we don't talk to them and F them and this. And I'm like, okay, hun. So like I had to like get a chart and figure out who is in and who's out at all times. It's weird.
Jessica's my girlfriend. She's not my wife. We're not married.
Okay. Living in sin?
Yeah. That's what I told her the other day. No, I'm a practice. Look, this is how I see it. I think Joe Diaz was talking about this. And then how you're Jewish? You're not Jewish.
I'm not Jewish.
But you know how Jews are Jews, but they're also culturally Jewish. They're ethnically Jewish.
What would culturally Catholic mean? What does that mean?
I just consider myself culturally Catholic now.
You just wear purple in the fall for Advent?
Because it's like, like Mexican Catholic is just like it's a way of life, right?
What does that? Tell me though. So educate me.
It's almost like you're Mexican and you're Catholic, and then you're other, right? So because the majority of my numbers are probably wrong. No, they should be right, but the majority of Mexicans Catholic because the Spaniards came in and it's like killed a few of us. There was some disease and
a lot of rape. A lot of rape and now believe in Christ.
Now,
that's how they spread
the Catholic Christ too, but not the regular Christ. Like my grandma was a Catholic,
right?
Like. I said this do you believe in God?
Yes.
You're right. Yeah. Did you always believe in God, or was it?
I'm the only comedian in the world that believes in God. That's my shtick.
There's another. Or even if they do, they're not going to talk about it because it's cool.
Right.
And then I was an atheist for like a year.
Okay.
I was like that vegan. Like I was prophesizing. I was that guy because I thought I discovered something nobody else discovered. I was like, you're all wrong, and I figured it out.
Which is what?
Like I really thought like, there's no God, and I had felt I had to convince my whole family that they were wrong, and it was just stupid.
Turns out you just had a lot of caffeine that day.
yeah. I can't get it up. There can't be a God. So. And I was trying to convince my grandma, who's like, old, you know what I mean? Rest in peace, she's dead now, but car accident, died on impact.
Wow.
But it's pretty much
now that you're a practicing
Agnostic Catholic.
Agnostic Catholic, Mexican.
Yeah.
And grandma's dead.
Mexican American.
Does that mean you put in memoriam on the back window? Like, how does that? Like,
I should,
do you light a
right?
candle?
I like matches.
I'm so fascinated by what cultural Catholic means. I don't understand, because with Jews, it's like, there's like, oh yeah, there's a Jewish culture. You get it.
I have a white question for you.
Yes,
you're white, right?
Please.
Culturally white.
Culturally white sounds really weird.
Oh, that could be.
I want that label.
Wait, that could go very. Like,
yeah. I would never open a speech that way. My name's Ken. I'm culturally white. Thank God.
So, I noticed this from white people.
Yeah.
Jessica's family, they're half white, and I think got this white influence where parties, there's no booze at family parties.
So her family's been gentrified?
They've been whiteified. Yeah. There's no
no booze.
Yeah,
that doesn't sound white.
At family how? So it was her son's 10-year-old birthday, 10-year-old birthday, 10th birthday, and then I was like, all right, we're getting ready for it at the house. We were going to have it at her friend's house, but they had a falling out. So we had it at our new house. But that's a whole different thing. So then You're
starting to sound like a white woman.
Really? So then I'm with half a white woman a long time. A long time? Many hours of the day. So there was I was like, all right, well, we got to get the cake. We got to get the, the beer or whatever. She's like, beer? This is the 10-year-old's party. I was like, well, we have to have beer.
Yeah.
We can't not have beer. And he's like, we don't have, like when we had we had 2 baby showers. We had a, not black baby shower. We had the Mexican baby shower and the white baby shower.
Right.
And, the Mexican baby shower, there was a bar, there was a hall, everybody's drinking.
Yeah.
And then at the white one, there was me and her brother, who is half Mexican.
Yeah.
More culturally Mexican. We found some booze. Oh, her mom bought me alcohol.
Okay.
But she didn't she bought me a Black Label because I know you don't drink anymore. It's okay for me. I'm not going to trigger you, right? You're in control of everything, right?
We're fine. Mm-hmm. This is not a white story. This is about your family.
They're the white side.
Yes. This is unique to them because that's not my experience.
I don't think it's Irish.
But I also come from a line of alcoholics.
Yeah, you're alcoholics and Southside.
Yeah.
And to me, Italians aren't white people. They are, but they're not.
My culture is more Southside culture than it is white culture.
Okay, booze is going to supersede the white. When I think white, they think maybe, let's say, not Algonquin. Let's say maybe not Northbrook. I think I was just talking to my friend about it. It's like a Midwest. Not plain Jane, is a plain Joe guy. Who goes to the office or whatever. It's like, oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe, you don't want to look at his internet history because it's disgusting. Right. But on the outside, he's very...
total scumbags inside.
That's what I see. So I don't count Italians. I don't count Irish. To me, you're...
Right.
You're not...
I'm German English. That's my background. Is mostly
Jinglish.
German, English, Irish, a little bit Irish.
Yeah, but Southside.
But Southside is I feel like is the culture I identify with. Yeah. Now, I lived in Los Angeles for 8 years, but I still very much feel like an outsider.
Are you a vegan now that you've been in...
No, my wife... Sorry. My wife's vegan, but I'm not vegan.
But she's always been vegan?
No, last 4 years, I think. 3 or 4 years.
Sorry, that's the water. What turned her?
She had already given up pork and red meat, so she was just eating chicken and fish, and then she had a lot of problems with dairy. So most of it was health issues. Mm-hmm. So she's like, I already gave up dairy. I already gave up red meat. I already gave up pork. All I have to do is give up cheese and chicken and fish. And she's just like, it was just easier for her to quit.
I was culturally vegan for a week. No, vegetarian for a week.
You keep using that word.
I like it.
Culturally vegan?
I like it because it's... Rachel Dolezal, she considered herself culturally black, but you know what I mean? I was at Walgreens and there was a black chick and this white chick, and this white chick had that accent, it was super, who I can't even do it, man. I'm trying to remember how she had the ankle tattoo. She was taller. She had no ass though, so that was culturally more on the white side.
Right.
Not Italian. But she was super ghetto. She's the black chick, she was making a scene, because not making a scene, but something with the makeup and whatever. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to get in line because I'm trying to go to work because I went there to have some food before work. How have you been, Ken? How are your travels?
I'm so glad you've had caffeine.
Yeah.
I've been great, man. I taped the special in March. It came out July. I went on my honeymoon right after I taped the special. We went to Maui because my wife won The Price is Right.
That's a good island. That's a rich island.
Yeah, we didn't pay for it. The Price is Right paid for it.
You were on The Price is Right?
She was. I was on it as well, but she won and I lost. So she won the whole thing. I lost. So we went to Maui, and then I've just been touring and traveling and just doing stand-up. And
did you see any animals? Did you see the stars?
I don't know. I think the thing about Maui is everyone's in bed by 9 o'clock. Because the time
island.
Difference, and also it's like there's
5 hours.
You're so tired from snorkeling all day and like running around and hiking, and we did zip lining. It was dope. And then, but yeah, we didn't really stay out too late, but it was beautiful. We were right on the ocean, and Price is Right. I highly suggest everyone be on the Price is Right.
Whenever
definitely.
I always think, who is it? Is it the guy with the glasses from Cleveland who runs
Drew
it now?
Carey.
Drew Carey, right?
Yeah.
So Drew Carey. Whenever you think of the Price is Right, I think of that scene from Happy Gilmore.
Yep.
With
Bob Barker.
Is he still alive?
Yeah.
Bob Barker?
No, he passed.
Oh, is who's the guy from CNN? He used to be on CNN. Me and my friends were talking.
Wolf Blitzer.
No, the older guy.
That's Wolf.
Who interviewed everybody back in the day. I feel like
Are you
he's
sure
still
it wasn't
alive.
60 Minutes?
He had all the younger. No, this is CNN. This is before CNN turned what it is like.
Yeah.
Into now like not a tabloid, but whatever. Everything's crazy now. But remember, interview guy, old, had the glasses. He had always had young wives. Very.
Oh yes, of course. I know who you're talking about. My buddy interviewed with him. Of course, yes. As soon as you said suspenders.
Larry
King live. Yep.
I feel like he's still alive because
he is.
I don't think he can.
No, he died.
No,
I think. I don't know. We'll find out. Chrissy,
is he alive?
We're gonna find out. Larry King.
I was just watching an interview of Larry King interviewing.
No, he died in January 23rd, 2021.
2021.
Because my buddy interviewed with him right before he died.
Who was your buddy?
Ben Glebe.
That sounds very familiar.
He hosted Idiot Test on Netflix and did Chelsea Handler a bunch, and it has a Showtime special, and he actually has a new special on YouTube called Mad King. Check it out.
Chelsea.
Shout out Ben Glebe.
Shout out to Ben Glebe. Chelsea just broke up with, or her and
Joe Coy.
Yeah,
broke up, they broke up.
That was kind of
one headshot per couple. I always say it. One headshot per couple,
right,
bro.
Yeah. Are there
That's some rookie shit right there to date a comic, man.
And
Come
they were
on.
both in their 50s or 40s,
something like that.
It just seemed to me.
I think Joe was like married and stuff. Has a bunch of kids, I think.
Oh, I know he has kids, but I don't know if he was.
As soon as they got together, I was like, nope.
No.
Is
it just
very rarely can comics make it and figure it out?
Is it just Christina and Segura? I can't think.
Yeah.
Is Voss still with his wife?
Rich
Voss?
Rich is still with his wife.
Those are the only two I could think of.
Yeah, but honestly, most of the time it doesn't really work. My wife's a normal person, like normie.
Civilian. I
civilian.
Like
was that civilian?
Yeah.
She's. It's great. Like we're on different schedules, but.
All right. Speaking of impotence, did you really find your dad's? I mean, your joke. Did you really find your dad's Viagra?
I did. Yeah.
Did you use any of them?
I did. Yeah. Yeah. I stole it. Yeah. Absolutely.
Does he know you took his Viagra?
Yeah. I do the joke in front of him. He was at my special.
Oh yeah.
He was at my taping.
In front of him.
And he keeps going, I want 5 minutes to rebut.
What are you gonna do with that 5 minutes?
Yeah. I don't know, man.
He's like, I'll show you.
Yeah.
But look, no, I have Viagra on me. It's in my fanny
So what are you worried about?
I don't use it with my lady unless like.
What do you use it for?
Oh, anyways, not anymore. But so here, let me show you. But I'll tell you why I did. It's like maybe a year or two. I did have like some erectile issues, but so I went to the doctor for other stuff, and I was telling her about it, and she was like, "Oh no, it's all mental." And I was like, "Really?" He was like, "I'm gonna give you some of these. Take one or two, and then." I'm telling you, it's mental, and it was mental.
Yep.
Because I think we were gonna have sex, and it was like a quickie. She said, "Oh, quickie," and then all of a sudden there was like it was like a countdown in my head, like I need to have an erection now.
Yep.
So I was doing it on my and I was like, and then from that one time messed me up for like a week or two.
So toward the end of my first marriage, I've been married. This is my second marriage.
Yeah.
Toward the end of my first marriage, my penis wanted to have nothing to do with her.
Oh, because your penis was so disgusted by her,
heartbroken.
Didn't
And at that point, at one point, my wife would say to me, "Just throw it in me." Like the most unsexy, just toss it in there, just throw it in me, and I'd be like, "Oh God, no!" And I remember, we went to New York, and we was like, "Let's save this relationship weekend trip to New York," and she went down on me, and I think I came in 10 seconds, and that was, and she goes, "Man," this is what my ex-wife says to me. She goes, "Boy, if all your blowjobs were like that, I would have blown you all the time." I'm like, "You're just done." You're done.
God.
I don't know if you've been divorced, but there comes a time when you're done, you're fucking done. And we're trying to put our best foot forward and try to figure it out, but my penis was having, and so I had a therapist at the time. And I was like, I am petrified. I am petrified that this is broken forever, that it's not going to work. And he's like, no, man. He's like, you're going to do great. You're going to be fine. And then I met the girl I ended up dating with for like 3.5 years. And we had it was just amazing. It worked. It was great. It worked, and it was just, it's all mental, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because he's like, you're young, you're healthy. It's like,
but when you, when your girl was like, let's have a quickie or was excited, that pressure,
versus like, if it's like, because it's funny. Sometimes I get home and it's like, I think about it sometimes because I don't have flashbacks, but like I had that episode where it was like I had issues, and then I remember like if I'm thinking, I was like, I'm not horny. I'm not gonna be horny. Right. Like, I'll go in the bathroom at work allegedly, and then I'm like, pull out the porn, and I'm like, it's not really happening. And I was like, is this it? Maybe it doesn't work. And then I'll get home, it's like, I don't think we're gonna have sex. I'm not in the mood. And then we start messing around. I was like, oh, yeah, no, it's just I wasn't in the mood at the time, and now I am. So, like, I don't even think about it anymore. It's
dude, foreplay's so critical. It's so key, man, to just be together. Sometimes my wife and I'll rush into it because we're tired. We ate a big meal, whatever, and then it's not happening. And my wife is gorgeous. She's so sexy. But if we rush into it, like, the mindset isn't there. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or, like, she works from home, so every once in a while I'm like, day bang? What are we going to do? Want to do day bang? And she's like, give me a minute. Like, I want to get my mind, She goes, the other day, she goes, I'm trying to get my head in the right space. I'm like, I'm trying to get my head in your space.
What did your ex-wife say to you again? Throw it in there?
Oh, yes, just throw it in there. Just toss it in.
So she was is that the ex-wife that took away the Stanley Cup from you, right?
Yes.
You were going to...
I just told that story yesterday.
Yeah, you were going to fucking...
True Chicago sports fan podcast.
You were going to...
I was gonna do a show at Joe's on Reed Street. She planned a weekend getaway to San Diego, and so I had to cancel my gig at Joe's on Weed Street, and that was the Sunday that they won the Stanley Cup, the first one that they won, and they brought it directly to Joe's on Weed Street, and Alex Ortiz is on stage holding it, and that would have been me. That would have been, and I was so angry and resentful about it because I didn't want to go to San Diego. But my wife, much to her defense, like, and I don't come to her defense often, but like she had put out like this little book, and like she had called comedy clubs and was like, "Can my husband get up?"
Nice.
I mean,
that's nice. That's pretty cool. I appreciate
she really went out of her way, but but I mean, it just was one of those things where Taze is here, Kane's here, Duncan, it was like all of them. They were all there. Duncan was there, and I was just like, oh man, I missed it.
So I was never a big hockey guy, but I did. Yeah. Maybe it was Patrick? Who was? Give me some famous Blackhawks. Maybe it was Patrick Kane. Yeah. And there was another guy. Maybe it was him. But he came to. So I caddy on weekends, right?
Oh, nice.
With Jews, regular Jewish people, and culturally Jewish people, because it's a Jewish country club, but some of the members are just like culturally Jewish. So then I think Patrick Kane or somebody came to the country club. And then I had the loop, so I was going to caddy for him. And then I didn't know about hockey. I was like, oh, look, this guy is big. I know. Yeah. We used to play it. I played a little bit back in the day, maybe on Sega Genesis or Super NES. Yeah. And I remember you'd fight, and then I didn't know a lot about hockey, you know what I mean? Because I grew up culturally Mexican Catholic, and it wasn't a big thing for us, sorry. And then this one dude, rest in peace, Nick Urbanchak, he was a looper, and he was like, his eyes lit up.
What does looper mean?
Oh, a looper. So a caddy.
Oh, gotcha.
Because when you go on a round and you caddy, it's called a loop. I throw that around a lot, right?
Yeah.
Like looper. So
were you culturally a looper?
I am kind of part-time. Like
you keep using that word.
Look, like there's some loopers that are in it for life. Like
I'm sure.
Like there's these Mexicans I know plenty of Mexicans, but there's this one dude. He was a caddy since he was 13. His brother was a caddy. They're like pro caddies.
Yeah.
And his son is a caddy. And so I just went out with a loop. I went on a loop with his son. Yeah. And I was like, hey, I haven't seen you in years. Where you been? Like, and he's like, and the first thing he said is like, just letting you know, I don't really talk to my dad, so if you're going to ask where my dad is. And I was like, no, I'm cool. I'm friends with him on Facebook. I know what he's doing. But he was...
Sounds like a very white thing going on.
Yeah. So then I was like, okay. I was like, oh, what are you going to do in the winter? That's something you ask. Members ask you, like, what do you do in the winter? You know what I mean? And I remember one time I was caddying for some members, and at the time I was just caddying in the summer, and I was going to college, and they thought I was like one of these, I'm going to use the word beaners. Beaners that would go to Mexico, and they come back. And
support your family.
Yeah, so he was like, oh, so this lady was like, oh, so what do you do in the winter? Like, you go back to Mexico? And I was like, I was born here, and I go to like Forest College, and I'm studying. I was like, did you hear me? I speak.
I'm finishing my pre-law degree, bitch.
Yeah, like, But I asked him, what are you doing in the winter? He's like, thinking about doing Scottsdale. Because the life loopers, you're here in the summer.
Yep.
And then you either go to Florida.
Oh, that's interesting.
Arizona or the Palm Desert.
Yeah.
Those are like the golf hotspots where you go.
Oh, that's really interesting. I didn't know that.
So that's a whole life.
Yeah.
Like loopers.
I lived in Florida for about a year, and we went golfing in Cape Coral, which is right by Fort Myers Beach. And we would go golfing in the summer during...
or West Coast.
West Coast, Gulf Coast, yeah. And we would go golfing every Saturday, but we had like a 7:30 tee time because by noon it was too hot. And we had to get done by like 11:30.
People are spoiled in Florida, California, and Arizona because you have good weather all the time. And I hear it like the weather will be kind of bad and nobody will play. And then, but over here it's like
Arizona in the summer. I don't think you can golf. I think it's too hot.
No, I've never been. I've never been down there, but I went to Texas and we played. I do like.
Are you a good golfer?
I'm an okay golfer.
That's good.
I played, I think, yesterday.
Okay.
Was yesterday Labor Day?
Yes. No. Yes, it was. Yesterday was Monday.
Today's Tuesday. Right? All right. Yep. So I played yesterday. I played. He's a nice guy. Are you a decent golfer?
No.
Okay.
No.
But I like you, so I would play with you because I like your personality. So either I have to like you, or you have to be a decent golfer. And I don't have to like you, but if you're a decent golfer, I don't care because we're playing golf. So I should. All right. I don't think he listens, but look, he's a nice guy, and I had fun playing with him. But then at the same time, I could also play with my girlfriend because she's not that good. I thought he was a little better than he was. This friend. It was so I was just I got up and then I was like. He's the boyfriend of my friend's friend, who's kind of our neighbor, and I was like, and his girlfriend tried to set up on a golf date once.
Oh, that sounds like a nightmare.
Well, because I didn't know the guy, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't know if he was good. So then she's like, hey, so she said we're gonna set you. Let me give her a fake name. Jennifer. There you go.
You're not good at fake names, apparently.
No, I was like Dreamski, purified members mark. So Jennifer told Jessica, my girlfriend, hey, I set up a golf day they could play, and then she's like, hey, so we set up a thing. I know you want to play golf, so you could play with Jacob.
I don't want to. I'm going to stop you right there. If they listen to this, they for sure know you're talking about them.
All right, okay. So Vanessa and Alex.
No. Oh God. Oh
okay.
My God.
They know. So anyway,
cat's out of the bag.
But I was like, no. I'm kind of particular. I don't know. I'm particular about certain things in golf, and it's like. No, it's like I don't know him. I don't know what it's going to be like for 2 hours, and I can't risk it. If he's not, I was like, how does he play? Well, he's not that good. No, I can't take that chance because I'd rather play by myself. Because by myself, I'm usually not alone.
The
I have an AirPod.
The whole point of golf is to enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
And if you go out with people that aren't good, now it's one thing if like everyone's drinking, having a good time, go to top golf then and do that. You know what I mean? But I get that. I had a period in my life where I got the clubs, and that's like I was culturally white at the time, and I thought I had to.
Oh, you were like a big shot.
I worked for NASDAQ. Yeah, I was a managing director at NASDAQ, so I like go to these golf outings and all this stuff, and so like, but. I came to a conclusion like I'm not good at this because I don't put the time in to be good at it.
Yeah,
it takes a long time. A lot of lessons, good clubs.
A year to get good. Dedication I got good out of spite because one of my friends said you're never going to be good.
Oh,
and then I was like,
I love spite.
Oh my God.
Oh, I love it, dude. I want to write a book about spite and just tell these stories about how people have used spite to like launch their lives.
Brian Morton, I got really motivated from, I love Brian.
Yeah.
He did the podcast, but I remember he posted something about Joe Rogan because Joe Rogan just got to Spotify, and then I commented something about, Lobo Den's on Spotify, and he was like, really? Not like that, but like the comment was a little bit, and I was just, it just fueled me.
Yes.
And I was like, and I really put a lot of energy and whatever in the podcast, and eventually he did the podcast, and it's funny because when he did it,
did you talk about it?
No, I didn't. I didn't think about it. We talked comedy.
Joe Rogan would have talked about it.
No, he wouldn't have. Because he had Dave Mustaine on, and they were talking about drugs and music, and he didn't bring up the comment where Dave Mustaine, unless I'm wrong about this, on a VH1 Behind the Music, the comment, he's like, if you want to be great, somebody told me you got to do heroin. So he did heroin. And when I was listening to him talk about drugs, I was like, you don't know that, Joe? It's fine, whatever.
Yeah.
But, sorry, I got a little, when I heard, I'm like music and stuff.
But spite is so powerful.
God, it's like,
dude,
that's why I got good.
So powerful.
It's
I've used it for a lot of areas in my life where I'm like, oh, you don't think so? All right.
Like what? What are you good at?
Oh my God.
Comedy.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it was like, basically, like my mom and dad have been supportive up to a point, right? they're like the silent generation. So like they like are about pensions and like, working a job for 30 years. My father was a firefighter in Chicago for 35 years. And so for me, this idea of like doing comedy full time, they were supportive, but like, it's his little hobby. He does little sketches, he does a little thing, and it wasn't, and it drove me nuts because not once were they ever like, oh, we're really proud of you. Like you did it. Like we're so proud of you. And you get to a point you grow out of that and you need that validation from your parents. I didn't need it, but it was a source of like motivation for me.
Oh, show them.
Yeah, my dad literally. This is a great story. So I'm literally packing up my home in Tinley Park. I had just gotten divorced. I had decided that I was going to move to Los Angeles. Like it was like there's this huge journey I'm undertaking, and we're sitting in my empty living room, and my father says to me, who is my absolute hero, he says to me, Ken, I'm just worried. I just feel like, you've been doing stand-up for a while now. Don't you think you would have made it by now?
Oh, damn.
I mean, it was, I thought, I felt like,
oh my God,
I was heartbroken.
Oh.
I wrote that quote down and put it on my
wall of hate
fucking wall where I wrote, and I left it there, and then I realized like that quote was really causing more poison than good after a while. It was like I needed to forgive him and forgive myself and like move on from that shit.
Yeah, because he's your dad. He's trying to look out
right,
for your
and he everything in that line was built on fear.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because he's been a firefighter for 35 years. He retired. He got a gold watch. He's got a pension, and my dad made something out of himself. You know what I mean? But for me in that moment, and it's such a like. I mean, literally, I just packed my home up. And he'd be like, wouldn't you made it by now? I was like, oh, man. I was motivated for a long time based on that.
I had a wall of hate, and I totally forgot about this.
That's so unhealthy.
On my old place. Yeah. No, but it takes a good turn at the end. It started as a wall of hate, and one of the first ones, I did a show. It was like a battle royale competition type of thing in Milwaukee, right? And then it's funny because I thought, if you do a set, the other guy does a set, audience, whoever wins it goes on and wins. And I remember I did my set in Milwaukee. It was its place. It's not there anymore. It's called Karma. And they used to have a showcase by the Cats of Killers. That was their kind of CYSK from Milwaukee at the time. Okay. And then I did my set, and I was like, I felt bad for the other comic because I thought I was like, I did really good. Like I feel bad for his set, right? And I remember we did, and it's funny because they did the thing, okay, Giovanni, or I think his name was Alex Anderson, and then Alex Anderson, right? And I remember when they cheered for me, like I didn't cheer for myself because it felt wrong.
Right,
so I didn't.
Get that. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to do that. Yeah. So I'm like, whatever. And then they cheered for both of us, and I was like, okay, this was a lot closer than I thought. I was like, but I've still got it, obviously. And then the winner is Alex, whatever. And I was just like, oh, shit. And it hit me. But then I saw a post like a day or two later, hey, Mr. JJ isn't gonna, he can't do the competition. So we at the collection, we have decided to, based on all the second performances of the second place, there's gonna be one more spot. And I'm like, oh, that's me. And it's gonna be, I forgot his name, and this guy, and I was like, printed it out.
Oh wow, yeah,
that was the first one on my wall. And it's funny because that guy who won it, like I remember he messaged me like at one point. He's like, hey, you had a great set. Down the line and something else, and then Ricky, Ricky March. Flabby at the Abbey. Yeah. He was the second wall of hate. Like there was a
really
and
he seems like such
I
a
love
nice
Ricky.
guy. Yeah.
I love Ricky.
Yeah.
I'm doing a show for him. I think sometime this month, and he's doing a pod. I'm gonna have him on again. Oh, maybe it's Sunday. I need a spot. Anyway, so I did a show, and it was in Zion, which I'm suburb, so I'm over in Waukegan. I'm in that area, and there was a local show, so I was gonna go to the show, and I was like, let me have a set ready just in case, because back then I needed my set ahead of time, really ahead of time, versus now I can look okay, whatever. But I remember I just had it just in case. I was at Chuck E. Cheese, and I was just going to the set in case he asked me.
Were you at Chuck E. Cheese?
I felt like my niece's birthday, so I'm not a pedophile. That's other people.
I'm culturally Catholic. Well, we figured that out.
So then I'm at Chuck E. Cheese, and I'm like at Chuck E. Cheese putting a set list together, a piece of paper, kind of going over just in case.
Right.
So like from here, I got to go to the show. So then I go to the show, and then I don't get there early. I try to get there at the show because it's like I'm trying to make it seem like I don't want a spot. I'm just here to support. But if he does give me a spot, I want to get prepared, and he gives me a spot. And I did pretty good, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, like, some people there were some sailors like, oh, you should do more time. I was like, no, I just have a guest spot. All I got to do is 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was cool. And it was really cool. And then I remember the next day he put a post on Facebook like, oh, thank everybody that came out and blah, blah, blah. And he just missed my name.
Yeah.
And it was a guest spot. I wasn't on the initial lineup. But I remember I was like, it stung. I was like, it really did stung. And he was on the wall of hate. It was two. And then slowly it turned into, it was just posters of different shows I did. And so like the first part was like the two hate things, but the rest of it was just flyers and things and things like I got. So like it turned into, it reminded me of that thing in the Simpsons. I don't know if you saw that episode where like Homer comes back to his job for the little girl, not Lisa, the baby.
Maggie.
Yeah, Maggie. And then and they put up a thing on his things like, you are here forever.
Yeah.
And then they changed around. It's a picture of Maggie and it's all pictures. So it was like that.
Yeah.
So that was the wall of hate.
I did a gong show once and the mic cut out. It was a cordless mic.
How does a gong show work again?
It's like, so there's singers, there's different
variety,
talent, magic, variety, all
okay.
that stuff. And then there was a couple comics on there. Mm-hmm. And someone up sang a karaoke song. Wasn't even their song. Wasn't an original song. It was some random song, all right? Mm-hmm. You're a great singer. Good job, you know. Well, I go up there, and I'm telling original material that I've worked on for years. At this point, I'm, like, cruising along, doing pretty well. And then the mic just went out, and this dude just grabbed it and gonged me immediately. Like, they were literally handing me a new mic. I hadn't really skipped a beat, and I just looked. And he's like, yeah, man, sorry, man. It's just not your night, bro. And dude, this is before I quit drinking. When I tell you that I tracked that dude down and called him and unleashed fury on him, I called, I think, the restaurant. Or no, it was the guy who booked it. I called the booker. I think it was Brian Hicks. And I go, hey, man, you got so-and-so's number? Because he was a comic. That was what it was. The judge was a comic.
Oh, that would even...
And oh god, it's like more. I see. I'm so over this thing. Like I moved. So the judge was a comic. He gongs me because the mic cuts out for like 3 seconds, and I call Brian. Hey man, you got so and so's number? Yeah, here you go. And I call that dude. I go, man, why the fuck you gong me last night? He's like, who is this? I'm like, this is Ken Garr. You gong me. I was at this show. He gonged me. He's like, bro. He's like, man, I don't tell you, dude. He's like, it's a gong show. He's like. Some motherfuckers get gonged, you know. And like, it wasn't personal. He wasn't after me, but like that's how like my alcoholic brain works. It's just like the whole world's after you. You know what I'm saying? It's like all resentments and all anger but yeah, man, I spite, dude. Eventually I threw away that Post-it note that had my dad's quote on there, and but what was more importantly, I talked to him about that and how it had hurt me. And again, as I knew at the time, it was like
communication.
I just wanted
very
you
important.
to be, and I never was good at that.
Yeah.
Ever, and so, but I see that all the time. Dude, I remember one time, this girl dumped me, and she was talking about how she's like, I like guys that like work out or in like, fitness and blah, blah, and, and it was hurtful, it was like hurtful. And I went on like South Beach. I lost like 25 pounds, dude. It's like, it's not healthy, but it works, right? It's not like, it's not healthy to like use spite, but it fucking works, dude. I can't.
I'm back to counting calories. This is the biggest.
Are you?
I've been like, I was big.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, actually, I didn't lose weight because of spite. The first time, so I got really big. I broke my collarbone.
Oh, okay.
I was doing
I did that.
MMA with a cokehead.
Jesus.
He was teaching the local Gold's Gym in Gurnee. He's a teacher. And I remember, like, I just saw the guy's face and name, and I just remembered it. And one time when we got phone numbers, and I realized I already had his number saved, and it was a guy that allegedly maybe was calling me for that thing in particular. I wasn't whatever. I just had some, and somebody was like blah blah blah. And I remember I gave my number.
It's funny how they come out of the woodwork when you hear. You know what I mean? Hey man, you got some coke? I heard. You got coke.
It's like it's everybody.
Wait,
you know
what?
What I mean? Yeah, and it's like, well. But it just reminds me, I was in a garage and there was this guy who was just geeked out of his mind. I think his name was Angel or Omar or something like that. And he's so like, the mouth and everything, right? And he's like, I was like, you got any coke? He's like, no, what do you mean? Blah, blah, blah. But he's so geeked. But anyways, this guy, his name was Gary.
Okay.
He ended up being I think I talked about him before, but he ended up being my MMA coach, and I broke my collarbone doing practice moves.
Okay.
Right. And it's funny because my friend's like, you never even fought. I ended up with cauliflower ear, a broken collarbone, and I never fought or anything, but he was trying to, he would push people to fight.
Yeah.
so he could, because he'd make money off a fight. So he's like, "Oh, you're ready to fight? All right." And he put
that's
it.
just so wrong.
Yeah, he was. Well, he was. I saw him a year or two later.
That's like going on my wall of hate.
It was my wall of like. I saw him 2 years later, shirtless, super skinny, walking down the street at Belvedere and Waukegan, not the nicest area.
Yeah.
Just walking around. He's like, "Oh man, what's up? Hey, if you want to start fighting again, let me know." I was like, "You have no shirt. You're obviously." And it was like, and this was a guy who was teaching us. But I remember I broke my collarbone. Like I remember when I first got
painful. I did that,
and that's how, because you can't do anything.
No,
you can't. Like you break your arm, you get a cast.
Yeah,
you can't. So I was just sitting for months in a sling.
Yep.
And I didn't want to go to the hospital, but then I was like, I just drove home. I drove myself home, and I was like, dude, what if this doesn't heal properly? So I drove myself to the hospital. I was like, I'm gonna go, because my mom was like, I'm one of those, like, sometimes like, I don't need to go. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine. And my mom's like, I showed up, and she's like, what's wrong with you? And she was like, you should probably go to the hospital. So I went, you got checked out and was fine, but there's nothing you just sit there and let it heal. And they didn't give me any good drugs. All they gave me was ibuprofen. So all I was doing was, and if you take that stuff and you don't eat, it tears up your stomach. So all I did was ibuprofen, food. And I gained 30 pounds, and I had that for like 5 or 6 years until one day, me and my friend were in bed together because we slept on the same bed for like a year. There was like a bunch of us in the house, a bunch of Hondurans and everything. So there was a guy on the floor, me and him shared a bed, and then his brother was on the other bed, but whatever.
It sounds very culturally Mexican.
It was culturally, it's very culturally different Latin cultures mixed into one. Anyways, so then I remember I was like, you know what, I'm going to lose weight, because there was this girl that I used to sleep with. Like, I want to sleep with her again. She's like, Jovi, she's not going to fuck you. You're fat. And I'm like,
that's it.
And I'm like, okay, all right. And I remember I started counting, got my MyFitnessPal, and I lost like 30 pounds. But I put in my description, I put sedentary lifestyle, because I refused to do any type of work, because I didn't want to. I was like, because I'm the type, it's like, I don't want to. I don't want to go to the gym. I don't work out, but I could do this. This is easy for me.
I like lifting. I hate cardio. I like lifting weights. I hate cardio. I've been begging my wife to call me fat, because I know that it'll trick my brain. I'm like, she's like, no, I think you're sexy. I love how you look. She's like, I love your body. She's like, I'm not going to do that. I'm like, please call me fat.
It doesn't.
Please, I will get immediately. I will get ripped.
Yeah, like, Jessica was like, you're so hot, dad bod, and I was just like, this is not. What I was actually caddying, and I took a little jog. Right.
Yeah.
I just felt my stomach go up and down, and I was like, I was like, you know what?
I'm 10 pounds away from having to lift something to fucking clean right now. That's how I feel right now.
Yeah, I'm just.
And she's like, "You're sexy. I don't care. You're hot." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, like I had no motivation to lose weight up until that moment, but I want to get. I don't want to buy new clothes, and then and my like non-t-shirts. They're at their limit.
My friend Cindy said to me, "I go, yeah, I'm trying to lose like 30 pounds." She's like, "Just buy bigger shirts." I'm like,
no, I like my shirts. I have good shirts. I don't want to let them go.
I switched to the black V-neck for the most part. Like today, I got a little bit dressed up, but I was
none of those shirts. The button ones fit me anymore.
It's struggling. It's struggling down here. Yeah,
it was like that. Now it's like it's.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. They're like, it's spread here. It's
yes, the button spreads.
Yeah, the buttons are ready to pop out, and then. Like, I went to that funeral, and I was like, I got nothing. So it's a hot summer day. I had to wear a sweater, like a black sweater. That's all I could do. I was like, I don't have any. It's either this or this Slayer shirt I have that I got at Meijer for $12.99, or Lobo Den shirt. Or,
I was gonna say wear a Lobo Den shirt. I feel like people don't even get dressed up for funerals anymore.
I know they don't.
You know,
I don't want to be. Part of me has this like old school mentality for certain things.
Dude,
I still want to be dapper.
I feel, and I appreciate that, and I think they would too. But I feel
I only wear jeans,
and somebody was recording like on Instagram the funeral.
My mom went to a funeral. And like put it on her Snapchat, and it was like,
no,
you mojo. I was like, what are you doing? You're so like,
oh my god,
yeah. Like, what do you?
That's the world we live in now. Mm-hmm. That's the world we live in now.
Like you see the Facebook with the grandma. They take a selfie with the grandma. She's half dead in the hospital.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Stop it.
This angel got her call.
Yeah,
this angel was called up to heaven.
Me and my cousin got into it. My grandma died. I was like, can you not post anything? And then I was like, you know what? Finally, I was like, if that's how you grieve, just fucking do it. Everybody grieves their own way.
Yeah.
I'll still judge you for it.
Yeah.
But whatever. Because I remember we had a phone conversation, and I was like, "Can you not?" And she's like, "I love my grandma." She just started barking.
She's like, I'm trying to get these likes.
Yeah, like
trying to get this sympathy.
Yes.
Some people love sympathy, man. Some people love it.
Yeah, there's a lot of, suicide posts I see. Like,
yeah,
I see it. My comic friend, I don't like these. All right.
Dude, there's a comic.
Suicide's bad, but it's like, stop posting. Either.
This comic,
do it or okay.
This comic in LA killed herself, and she wrote her own obituary, and it literally read like an IMDb profile, bro. And I was just like, I'm not kidding you. She's like, Sarah appeared in 3 episodes of da-da-da. I'm like, what? And it was so weird because like I knew her. We were friendly. And I remember so here's the thing I do when people die that I know, I immediately go to like Facebook or my text to see when's the last time we talked, what we talked about. Mm-hmm. And really what I'm doing, some piece of shit, is I'm making sure I didn't ignore some message.
Oh.
Right? Because I'd be like, what was our last interaction? Like, oh, I didn't write them back. Was that the reason? Because every comedian I know just kills himself. They don't all, none of them die naturally.
No, or overdose.
Or overdose, yeah.
Yeah. This guy, man, this was fucked up. And I remember, like, he was a friend of mine on Facebook, and I went to high school with him. Okay, let's say it wasn't me. But anyways, I heard this story where there was a guy on Facebook, right? Because it seems kind of douchey. And then... fuck it. I've already committed to it. All right. We've all made mistakes, right? And done douchey things. And I'm a better person. So I had a list of people on Facebook as to where they kind of lived. So if I was going to have a show, I would be like, yeah. So I was going to be a show in his area. So I went to his Facebook because I was going to message him. And I saw he died. And he died young of cancer. And this part's fucked up. And then I went through his friends list. And I think I added... his sister and his wife to allegedly try to holler at them. But then I never did. But the fact is I did add. I was like, well, she doesn't have a husband anymore.
Wow.
Added her.
Okay.
But then I never took that next step. Because then it was like, all right, I can't. All right.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Like, this is, it was.
I get it. When I was married, I had like fantasies of like, it got to the point, I'm married now, but like my first wife, it got to the point where I wanted her to not be alive anymore. Like, I didn't hate her, and I didn't want to kill her. But I didn't want to go through a divorce. And so I just wanted her to, like...
it'd be easy.
Be gone. And you know what I mean? And I
wanted to move once. Like, I was in a relationship, and I didn't have the balls to break up with her, and I was like, I should just move.
Yeah.
Like, I really seriously considered just moving to a different state.
I was always terrible at breakups, and I would always back down, and I always get back together with them, and I was, but I just remember thinking, like, God, how many girls would totally want to sleep with me if I was a widow? I'm such a scumbag. I'm such a oh God.
You know what I just watched the other
day? I look back on
day?
those thoughts. I'm like, you're a fucking worst person.
Since I was at the funeral the next day. It was in my head
of your girlfriend.
So I was sitting in the funeral, and I was like, I had one of these thoughts. I was like, you know what's kind of cool about funerals? No gifts. I mean, flowers, whatever. But I was sitting there. I was like, you don't have to bring it. This is kind of cool. We get food. There's no gifts.
You bring a card, just a sympathy card.
Yeah,
that's it.
And then Jessica, she was signing the card and took all this time. And I'm like, what are you doing? It's like, so sorry for your loss. My deepest condolences.
Yeah.
But she has to whatever. But I was like, look, man. And then
KITBRB.
So then it made me look up that scene in Old School Wedding Crashers with Will Ferrell, because they would crash weddings. They would crash weddings.
Damn you, Roger.
So he started crashing funerals. He's like, dude, you clean up. And and it's funny because I was like, I was watching it, and I know there's that part of me who did on Facebook I went with a friend to a funeral because he wanted to holler at my cousin. Right. And he was like, man, I want to talk to your cousin. But, oh, that sounds too much like. I was like, I want to talk to your cousin. And then it's not him. And then he was like, and I was like, well, she's going to be at that funeral. I was like, let's go. And I was like, and he went. And when he went, we went to the wake. Yeah. And then he sees my cousin bawling because like her cousin just died or something like that. And then obviously, at this point, he was like, all right, this is a mistake. I'm not doing it. And I was like, come on, dude. Here's your chance. Here's your chance. He's like, shut up, dude.
So he puts out?
Yeah. So it was
so
with
funny.
the bawling and crying. He's like, this was a mistake.
Dude, when women cry, it's like, it's the worst thing in the entire world. It's like,
what do you do?
Yeah. I was like, please, like I remember my first wife crying, and I'm like, she's like, I didn't think we were gonna get divorced. And I'm like, I just want you to stop, please. I'll give you anything you want. Please stop crying. It's awful.
Do you cry?
Oh yeah,
yeah, I cry.
I'm sober now. That's all I do is cry. I think.
I cry a lot.
I've been sober for like 5 years, and the prior 5 years to me getting sober, I think maybe I cried once or twice. And since I've gotten sober, I cry maybe like once or twice a week, man. I mean, it's like insane.
I've cried, but this is me. I've cried.
I'm gonna cry right now. Look, I'm misting up right now, dude. It's insane.
I got what was it? The movie Brother Bear made me cry. I remember I was watching ESPN, and it was a semi-documentary type of show about the 70-something Buccaneers who had the losing season, and then they had another losing season. So they're going to be maybe 24-0 because it was, I think, 12 game seasons. And then they finally won a game, and I remember I was just crying. I was watching ESPN.
Bro, I watched that Michael Jordan documentary about the 95
I'm
Bulls.
halfway done, but I got derailed.
Oh,
I'm watching all 11 seasons of right now.
I'm not going to ruin anything, but there's a scene where he talks about his passion for the game and how he doesn't expect everyone else to have that passion because he had this reputation of being really hard on his teammates.
Yeah.
And so he finally addresses it and he gets choked up, and I am like close to bawling. You know what I mean? Because I was just like,
maybe we should go back to watching it tonight.
Please do. If you're not gonna have sex because you had coffee, but
it won't be quick unless she wants to come too. Then there's another 10 minutes.
She should come, Giovanni.
Yeah,
that's how works.
But sometimes that's why I like the ones before work. Sometimes where I have to leave at a certain time, so it's like I did my job and I can go. There's no pressure. You know what I mean? Now it's like I like those sometimes the actual quickies where there's no extra pressure because it's like I do have to go to work. Yeah, because I got to go to work. So we start right before.
Selfish. Is it selfish?
No, but she'll come when I leave. She
keeps going?
What is it called? Toy?
A vibrator?
Yeah, she'll come, but I have to go to work.
We got to unpack this. We might have to talk about this a little bit.
Huh?
We might have to talk about this a little bit. I was with a girl who was like, "Can I maspirate after we have sex?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, that's super hot. I'm into that." And then she did it. I was like, "I'm not a real man." I'm not a man. I did not please her, and I got really insecure about it. I was like, I do it right. She's like, "Oh yeah, hon, you do." I get so hot after. I just want to keep going. I'm like, oh, good. But on paper, I'm like, this sounds like the hottest thing ever. And then we got in the moment. I was just like, I'm gonna go make a sandwich and maybe check my email. No,
I stay and I help and I support. You know
okay.
What I mean? You know what I mean? But
yeah. I thought you were like, I thought the way you presented it, you're purposely having sex knowing you have to go to work so that you don't have to make your partner come. And I was like, that's all wrong. That's all. I'm not trying to be judgmental, but if she's still,
it's like the not agreed to quickie. Like we know, it's a quickie, and I gotta get out of there. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not like a regular session.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
So she shouldn't expect like maybe the cuddling or the hanging out. It's like, hey, this is what our goal is.
Yeah, I got to go to work, so I don't feel bad for cuddling or whatever. And it gives okay. And I go, I'll FaceTime when I get off of work, or sometimes I'll FaceTime and then she'll masturbate, and my car does the auto drive, so I can join in too.
So you masturbate while you drive during FaceTime?
Oh yeah.
Wow. I feel like such a prude whenever I come on this podcast.
No, because it's pretty cool. Like I'm doing my lunch, but all the time. But now I've gotten to have.
You guys are pretty sexual, huh? How long have you been together for?
I don't know, maybe a year or two. We're gonna be 2 years.
Oh, yeah, you're still going at it.
2 years in. What month are we in?
I told my wife, I made a meme. I got.
We were single for 2 hours.
Really?
We got in a fight the other weekend over pizza, and then she changed her. I remember fights. I looked at her status as single. I was like, but we made up in the morning. But
it's so funny.
She has the other day, and then I was like, in case I need her phone for something. She's like, oh, by the way, here's the new passcode. Because every time we get in a fight, she changes her passcode. Like it's like clockwork.
That's fun. How often do you break up?
It's been a few. It's not like the real ones,
fights.
But it's like been 4 or 5 of them or something like that.
In a year or two?
Maybe this whole time. Like this one was pizza. I bought a pizza. For her. We went to a bar.
Yeah.
And then she really wanted food. She likes to eat. That's why we're not married, because she likes to eat. And
that's why you're not married.
She DoorDashes too much. I got to pay it on my credit card. So she's always eating.
My wife's the same way.
Yeah. So it's like, because her stepson asked me the other day, he's like, hey, why don't are you gonna marry her? I was like, yeah, as soon as he stops eating so much, like eating out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got to pay it on my credit card.
Yeah.
So then she really wanted food. And I could tell they're like, they closed the kitchen. And then looked at DoorDash, looked at the pizza place, and it was like a 50-minute wait or something like that. But the next place we're going to have food. But I saw that she got really sad when she couldn't get the food. Like, I was thinking, how we can get her food? So we go to the next place, and they had pizza. So the guy at the bar next to me just orders his pizza hot and fresh. She's like, oh my God. And the guy's like, oh, it's mine, don't touch it. And I was like, no, we're just admiring your pizza, right? And then she goes to the other side of the bar, and when she leaves, I'm like, the bartender comes, is like, can I get a pizza? And the bartender's like, we're done for the night.
Oh.
And I was like, no. Like, I knew how much she wanted to eat, and I was like, fuck it. I was like, she got upset because before I was like, I don't want to spend too much money when we go out. And I asked her how much is the pizza. It's like $10. Mm-hmm. I was like, I'll pay you 30 if you make the pizza. And then she said, I can't do it. I can't. But then she came back. I was sitting there. She's like, I'll make you the pizza. And she put the pizza for me. I brought her the pizza.
The bartender did?
Yeah. Okay. And then at the end of the night, when I was going to go pay, I was like, oh, I got a tip or whatever, 30. She's like, what? Oh, she thought it was because the girl was hot or something. She was a hot bartender.
There it is. Okay.
Yeah, and that's what it was.
Yeah,
and then we talked about it, and I was like, no, it had nothing. It was like the pizza. It could have been a dude. And I used to be a pretty generous. I still am.
Yeah.
Generous. When I started caddying, I became a very
cash.
Work on tips,
yep.
and then you just become generous because it's like you're in it. You understand what it's like. To like be tipped or not be tipped.
It's so funny. My wife is the least jealous person I've ever met in my entire life.
Yeah?
I mean, she's so confident and so sure of herself. She's like, yeah, go for it. I'm like, oh, I won't. I would want to do that.
Speaking of, no, actually, we're running out of time. Do you have any last words or plugs or?
Yeah, guys, go check out my special. It's called American Hero. It's on Amazon Prime. It's also on YouTube. I actually just closed a deal. It'll be on Tubi and Apple TV as well in the next couple of months. Go support it. Please, I'm so new at YouTube and all this stuff. Like it, subscribe, all these things.
There's a notification thing, too, isn't the bell, I think.
Yeah, if you get it on Amazon, you can rent it on Amazon or buy it. That'd be dope. Give me a rating. Give me a review. It all helps with all the algorithm stuff. But it's doing well, man. I only had, when I started, like 200 subscribers on YouTube, and I have like 500 now, which is not a lot, but for me it's good. And I have something like 48,000 views on my special, and that's out of 200 subscribers. So people are sharing it with people.
Yeah.
And all the comments, for the most part, are really positive, and it's been really great. And you can check out my website, kengarr.com, for any upcoming shows. I'll be in Las Vegas at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, September 26th through October 2nd. Ooh. And please follow me on Instagram at Ken Garr Was Taken, KenGarr was taken.
Somebody took Ken
Garr. It was taken.
Follow the Lobo Den Podcast on Instagram. Follow the Patreon. I just had to take off one episode, Patreon, because the comic does not want me to release this episode.
Oh.
And then so I took it off, but I told him, he just sent me the money, and I was like, I'll give you the money back if you let me release it. You didn't say anything that bad. You didn't say anything bad, Luca. It's not that bad. But anyways, but follow Patreon, Instagram, TikTok too. What I do is whenever I need to release a video on TikTok, I reinstall the app and I delete it from my phone because I'm a paranoid. I'm still like an InfoWars type of person at heart. And again, we're recording at the Lick Channel with Chrissy Ferreira. Do I have any other? Oh yeah, likes and subscribes. And then,
I do want to come back though one time because I didn't realize you and I are a little bit different politically.
Oh,
so I want to talk about that at some point.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll sneak not too much.
Yeah.
I like to keep people to have fun. I don't like people.
No, I don't want to argue or debate. I like you. You're a good person. But I saw a couple of your posts. I was like, really? Okay. All right. Let's circle back on that.
Yeah. And I had one more thing. Oh yeah, watch the X. All I do is watching X-Files. So X-Files. I'm gonna watch them on the drive home. Okay.
And the Jordan thing.
And the Jordan thing. All right, Lobo Den.
Lobo Den.